Today I fucked up by swiping on my girlfriend's phone NSFW. So this happened a few days ago, and I'm still not sure I'm 100% ready to tell the story, but here goes. I've been with my girlfriend for about a year and I already know she is the love of my life. She's perfect for me. We are perfect for each other. We are getting ready to move in with each other, and I want nothing more than to start a family with her and spend the rest of my life with her. We went on a short vacation last week, and when we returned she gave me her phone to look at some photos from the trip. She went to the bathroom while I had her phone, and as I was scrolling through the pictures it kind of jumped to a period that was about a year and a half ago. If you have an iPhone you know what I'm talking about. You scroll a little bit too fast and all of a sudden you're back at the start of the photo album. It's annoying as hell. But some photos caught my eye. Some photos that I really shouldn't be seeing, of her and a previous boyfriend. There she is, the love of my life, trying to get her mouth around the biggest dick I've ever seen in my life. I've watched porn a lot. I've never seen a dick like this. I'm talking bigger than two Coke cans stacked on top of each other. Longer and thicker. As far as I could tell she was unable to get her teeth around it. I could see another thumbnail of her comparing the size of his dick to her forearm with a look of wonder and glee on her face. I closed the pictures and I've acted like nothing has happened, but I cannot get these images out of my mind. I've never been self-conscious about my dick size. In fact, if you believe the stats, I'm significantly above average, but this has destroyed my self-esteem. We haven't had sex since. I can't concentrate on my work. I just wish I had never seen those damn pictures. Accidentally saw some pictures of the love of my life sucking the biggest dick on earth and my stupid male ego is destroyed. Update: there's a lot of people assuming that this was a one night stand. It wasn't. She was with this guy for 3 years. I can show you my tiny ass dick if it makes you feel better, bro. I used to own a gym, and one of my regulars had broken up with his wife and went off the radar for a year or two. He popped back one night for a chat and a catch up. He said that at one point he'd got a new girlfriend who was a screamer, she shouted and threw herself about and was ridiculously vocal in bed. He reckons he'd had sex with her about 3 or 4 times, and whenever he was banging her he was the king of the world. Until halfway through their next performance, when she stopped all the histrionics and said something along the lines of, "I fucking love shagging you, my last boyfriend's cock was too big, and it used to hurt me, but yours fits just fine." And that was the last time they had sex. And then he told all his mates thinking they would sympathize. Oh, how they laughed. Am I the asshole for switching to regular milk to prove my lactose intolerant roommate keeps stealing from me? Me and 2 other guys share an apartment together, and we split all the bills. The only thing we don't split costs on is groceries. Everyone's in charge of buying their own food and we don't touch whatever doesn't belong to us in the fridge. We put our names on everything so no one gets mixed up. This issue has been going on almost a year, and I'm sick of it. One of my roommates, keeps stealing my food. I get home from work and containers with my leftovers are sometimes missing. They have my name written on it, or my stuff finishes too quick. My gallon of milk, for example. I buy almond milk because I like the taste, but it seems to finish after a week, even though I've only drank once or twice. I confronted R about this lots of times and that's caused a lot of arguments. He outright denies it and tells me I'm crazy, even though it's so obvious. My other roommate and I carpool together because we both work the same early morning shifts around the same area, so I know it's not him. It's always after we get back home and R's already left for work that I notice my food's gone. My roommates also had a similar problem, but not as often as I do. I'm guessing cause R doesn't like what he buys. The funny thing is, R buys a lot for himself and is even more stingy about his food. He will literally point out what's his when he comes back from grocery shopping and tells us not to touch it. Last week, my milk was nearly empty again, and I got fed up. I went to the liquor store and bought regular dairy milk. I drank what was left of my almond milk and refilled the gallon with the one I bought. This was to catch/prove R is the one stealing. since he's lactose intolerant. The next day, Saturday, we get back from work and R is pissed. He yelled at me that he was stuck in the bathroom for 40 minutes with diarrhea because of my milk. He was using it to make a shake. I only responded with, "So then you're the one who's been stealing?" He freaking exploded. Yeah, he admitted he was sometimes drinking my milk and eating my food, but he was more mad that I switched milks than the fact that he was caught. I told him I wouldn't have done that if he'd just stopped taking my stuff from the fridge, or at least told the truth instead of trying to make it seem like I was making it up. My roommate backed me up and thought it was kinda funny he got payback for stealing from us. It's a little tenser and my roommate told me is trying to convince him to agree to kick me out. Little does he know we are both looking to move somewhere else together cause we are sick of his shit. I told some buddies what happened and if you think I was an asshole for that, I feel like I'm not in the wrong here. He was taking my food and not even owning up to it, and I wanted to prove it. Does that make me not the asshole? As you said, if I wasn't stealing your food, he wouldn't have had a problem. Also, it's not like this is a life-threatening allergy. It causes a minor, if smelly, inconvenience. Miller's arrested, this time by me. Trigger warning, violence, homophobia. I'll try to post this one more time in case I did something wrong. Yesterday I came in for my shift in the morning, without thinking about Bill at all. I got changed, had a cup of coffee, looked who I was going to be paired with, and when my partner and I walked out of the police station to go to the patrol car, I saw Mill. She did kind of come up to me, not close enough for a conversation, but close enough so that I could hear her. She started to say something about my boyfriend and the money she needs. I saw her, but I totally ignored her. I just walked past her without saying a word and went straight to the patrol car to start my shift. And the fact that I ignored her annoyed her pretty badly, I guess. She stepped back a bit, waited till we got into the car and, just before we turned on the engine and started to drive, she grabbed a rock from a nearby flower bed and threw it to the windshield of our car. The windows of our patrol cars are quite durable, fortunately. It cracked but didn't shatter, and I didn't end up with a face full of glass. I wasn't driving, my partner was driving, and it was obvious that she aimed her throw right at the passenger seat, where I was at. Then she probably realized that doing that to a police car in front of 2 police officers in front of a police station wasn't the smartest thing to do, and she turned around and took off running. I got out and ran after her. This pursuit wasn't very long. She only made it till the park that's not far from the police station when I caught her. And that's when she started to make the biggest scene I had ever seen. Mill had no intention of calmly letting me put handcuffs on her. Instead, she dropped to the ground and started to yell for help. Mind you, it was an early morning, but there were already quite a lot of people in the park. Some were walking their dogs, some were jogging, some were just walking through to get wherever they needed. She was yelling at the top of her lungs, "People, good people, help me. I'm being abused. Call the police. This one is not a real police officer. He's trying to kidnap me," and things like this. She was yelling for help so loudly that everyone in that park stopped whatever they were doing and looked at us. Everyone, men, women, children, dogs, and cats. There was not a single person that wasn't looking at us. You might think that I'm a man and she's a woman, so I should be able to hold her down, but really it's not that simple. She was hitting and scratching and biting. She was spitting at me. Also, during the struggle, she kicked me several times, quite hard and painful. Honestly, at this point, I had all the rights to tase her. I didn't. My partner came with the car. He helped me, and together we managed to handcuff her. The next problem was getting her into the patrol car. Our patrol cars are like vans. The back door opens, and there's like a cage with a bench where you can put the person in. And Mill wasn't going to get in there without a fight. Even with her hands cuffed, she was kicking the door, spread her legs very wide so that we couldn't get her in. And when we got her in, she was putting her feet in the doorway so we couldn't close the door. While she was doing all this, she never stopped to yell that we are breaking her bones, that we have no rights to treat her like this, that this is against the law, and still asking the people to call the real police. During my whole career as a cop, I had never had an arrest like this. I have arrested many drunk people, many aggressive people, many weird people, but this right here was the stupidest thing ever. We took her to the police station, and if we had troubles getting her in the car, now she didn't want to get out. She held onto the bars and we literally had to grab and pull her out. Once inside, Mill immediately demanded to see the captain. She wasn't listening when we tried to explain that the captain isn't going to do anything for her and shouldn't be bothered with this. She insisted that she has the rights to see someone superior, and technically she's right. So we went to get a captain for her who recognized her from the last time and wasn't too happy to see her. Mill said that she wants to complain about this officer while pointing at me. She said that I abused my power, used way too much strength on her, and didn't even care that she's a fragile woman, that I twisted her hands and brutally pushed her into the car. The captain asked to see my body camera. This is one of the reasons why we use body cameras all the time. If the suspect says one thing and the officer says something different, then you can watch the recording and see what actually happened. So, the captain played the recording for all of the present to see, and he asked Mill, "What's this, ma'am?" as she was clearly ignoring my orders on camera. Mill was like, "This is me fighting for my life. It's a survival instinct." I thought he would take the gun and shoot me right in the head. The captain was like, "No, ma'am, this is you resisting arrest. If an officer is giving you a lawful order, you're supposed to listen, and if you don't listen, the officer has the rights to use a certain amount of force to detain you." Mill said, "I take no orders from fags," while glaring at me. She was charged with vandalism, fleeing from the police, resisting arrest, and assaulting an officer. And just as she was going to be taken to jail, Mill suddenly started to complain that she's not feeling well. She said her heart hurts and she's dizzy and her blood pressure is too high, and she wanted an ambulance. Everyone realized that she's faking, but just to be sure that we are not mistaking, and she doesn't die when arriving at the jail, we called an ambulance. The medics came and examined her. Just like we thought, she was fine. Her heart rate was normal, her blood pressure was normal, she had no need to be hospitalized. I was just thinking, what do you think would have happened, Mill? The charges don't disappear just because the person is taken to hospital. She probably didn't know that, even if she was hospitalized, an officer would have gone there with her and stayed with her all the time. And as soon as she was okay again, she would be transported to jail anyway. She wouldn't sneak away if that's what she was thinking of doing. The ambulance left, and even though our captain is a very calm and composed man, at this point he seemed very irritated. He was like, "Ma'am, is the circus over, or are you going to give us more nonsense?" Mill then asked him if he was going to punish me, and he answered that no, he's not going to punish an officer simply because I was doing my job. And then Mill looked straight at him and went, "Are you gay too?" I froze. I couldn't believe that she really just asked that to a captain. I know he's not gay, but this was probably the most inappropriate thing she could have done. He knows I'm gay because I was forced to come out to him when Mill tried to cause troubles for me the first time. He ordered her to be taken to jail immediately, and even then she still had the audacity to speak. She insisted on having a phone call so that she could call her son and he could pay her bail. I'm not sure why she thinks my boyfriend is going to bail her out this time when he didn't do it last time. I called him first and I told him that his mother is arrested, and he seemed quite delighted as he's so tired of her. The captain offered my boyfriend to come to the station and see the recording if he wants, but we really don't want to show ourselves as a gay couple more than absolutely necessary. Mill did call my boyfriend and he refused to bail her out, so she'll have to stay in the cell till her trial. Since she already has a record, I'll be surprised if she's not given jail time this time.